Alex Jeffrey Pretti was a 37-year-old U.S. citizen and ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA healthcare system, known by colleagues and friends as caring and community-oriented. On January 24, 2026, federal immigration enforcement agents, primarily from U.S. Customs and Border Protection (ICE), were conducting a law enforcement operation in South Minneapolis. During the encounter, bystander video shows Pretti filming agents and at one point moving toward them as they engaged with others. Federal authorities claim he approached agents armed and resisted disarmament, prompting an officer to shoot. However, multiple videos and eyewitness accounts show a different sequence. Pretti was not holding a weapon in his hands, was filming and trying to help someone, and was pinned to the ground before being shot. One bystander video even appears to show agents taking a gun from him before the shots were fired. Pretti died at the scene from multiple gunshot wounds.
Do you think the bang-bang of Alex Pretti by ICE agents in Minnesota was justified or not? Love Beyond Color.
Call an ambulance, please. Call an ambulance. Please. Please, we're all people. I'm not in the way. I'm trying to help. Please call somebody.
If you get on the sidewalk, I understand, but you have to stay out of the way.
Stay back.
Don't come close.
Stay back, why? What's your reasoning? What's your reasoning? Why should we stay back?
Why don't you be quiet,
We've
please?
witnessed this multiple times in this city. Yes, we have.
Not by us.
Yes, we have.
You are evil!
Tell me what he's filming us for. Why is this guy filming us? When we're here to support our communities.
You film yourself and you shoot people?
Yeah.
You film yourself and you are shooting people!
Another American citizen murdered at the hands of a lawless ICE thug. His name's Alex. And earlier today, Alex was out protesting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And while he was protesting, he came across a group of ICE agents who were pushing women around in the streets. So he walks up to them with his camera and he says to those ICE agents, "Don't push them in the street." Then eventually he steps back and one of the ICE agents pushes a woman to the ground in his direction, and he catches her, prevents her from falling, helps her stabilize before she does. Then that same ICE agent and many, many others walk up to him and the woman and start pepper spraying them all. At that point, he then hopped on top of her to try to prevent her from getting the brunt of that pepper spray. He was then tackled to the ground and beat by 5 to 8 ICE agents. And then he was shot 12 times. 12 times he was shot. He was shot and he was killed. His body is not even cold yet. It's only been a matter of hours. We already have Kristi, Noem, and Stephen Miller calling him an assassin, a domestic terrorist. Want to know why? It's because he was carrying a sidearm. He was exercising his constitutional right, his Second Amendment right to an ownership of a firearm, but then B, practicing in accordance with his state laws by having a permit to carry said firearm in a holster around his waist, open carry. He is a law-abiding American citizen. He has no criminal record. He's an ICU nurse that works at a veterans hospital. But because he had this gun on his waist while he was getting taken down, handful of officers said, let's kill him. And the worst part of it is, when he was killed, he was unarmed. Moments before, ultimately, the ICE agents pulled out their guns and killed him on the spot. Another ICE agent went up to his side, grabbed his legally owned and legally carried gun out of his holster, and walked away with it. Then 3 of the other agents pulled out their guns, pointed them at them, and killed them. The footage is, I mean, seriously, some of the hardest content I've had to watch in recent memory. There's angles from every direction. And this should radicalize you. The fact that we have a government who's willing to sit here and just lie to your face, say that he was a threat, he was a murderer, he was a bad guy, a villain, and deserved to die, an assassin or domestic terrorist. When in all reality, he was just a fucking ICU nurse helping people, telling ICE not to push women to the ground. He deserved to die in the eyes of those Gestapo thugs, so he did at their arm. And now the full might behind our federal government is supporting them in their actions.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem publicly labeled Alex Pretti's actions as domestic terrorism after he was shot and killed by a U.S. Border Patrol agent in Minneapolis during a federal immigration enforcement operation. Noem asserted that Pretti's behavior, in her view, met the definition of domestic terrorism. She said that when you perpetuate violence against a government because of ideological reasons and for reasons to resist and to perpetuate violence, that is the definition of domestic terrorism. She claimed Pretti approached federal agents with a handgun and ammunition with the implied intent to interfere in their operation. She framed the broader situation, including protests, resistance, and rhetoric from local leaders, as contributing to a violent environment that met her definition of terrorism. Noem's characterization has been sharply disputed by Pretti's family, witnesses, and many local leaders, who say available video does not show him committing violence. Many observers and critics argue that labeling someone a domestic terrorist before a full investigation or legal process is highly unusual, especially in a case involving a U.S. citizen who was not charged with a crime before being shot. The term domestic terrorism has a specific legal definition tied to violent acts intended to intimidate or coerce a civilian population or influence government policy through violence, and many dispute whether Pretti's actions met that threshold.
This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at the scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
You just made claims that the individual posed a threat to law enforcement.
That is no claim. It is the facts. The facts of the situation. This individual showed up to a law enforcement operation with a weapon and dozens of rounds of ammunition. He wasn't there to peacefully protest. He was there to perpetuate violence, and he was asked to show up and to continue to resist by a governor who's irresponsible and has a long history of corruption and lying.
The White House has labeled the man who was killed in Minnesota as a domestic terrorist. Is that something you agree with, and have you seen any evidence to back up that claim?
When you perpetuate violence against a government because of ideological reasons and for reasons to resist and perpetuate violence, that is the definition of domestic terrorism. This individual who came with weapons and ammunition to stop a law enforcement operation of federal law enforcement officers committed an act of domestic terrorism. That's the facts. We are focused specifically on child pedophiles and sexual assault and trafficking rings in Minneapolis have brought dozens and dozens of them to justice. Why is he protecting them and refusing to work with us? This individual impeded the law enforcement officers and attacked them. State the facts as they unfolded on the street today. We were doing a targeted operation against an illegal criminal, and this individual came with a weapon and dozens of rounds of ammunition and attacked them. And these agents took action to defend their lives and to defend the lives of the people around them and acted according to their training. And we will continue to let this process go forward and not allow people like Governor Walz and Mayor Frey to lie about what actually unfolded on that street. It appears that they want this lawlessness to continue. It appears that they want chaos to distract from the theft and the fraud and the corruption of their city.
Is the president closer to invoking the Insurrection Act?
The president will use every tool that he needs to follow through on his promises to the American people. I'm proud to work for a president that wants to keep people safe, and he recognizes that political individuals like Governor Walz and Mayor Fry need to be met head-on with recognizing that we're not going to allow them to distract us from what they facilitated for corruption in their state. We're going to treat Minneapolis exactly the way that we have treated every other city across this country.
Watch closely, because this is who Alex Pretti was.
March 30th, 1947, December 10th, 2024. Today we remember that freedom is not free. We have to work at it, nurture it, protect it, and even sacrifice for it. May we never forget and always remember our brothers and sisters who have served so that we may enjoy the gift of freedom. So in this moment, we remember and give thanks for their dedication and selfless service to our nation in the cause of our freedom. In this solemn hour, we render them our honor and our gratitude.
That was Alex Pretti working as an ICU nurse at the VA, reading someone's father's final salute. That's who Alex was. He worked as an ICU nurse at the VA. And as we watch the attempted character assassination of Alex Pretti rolled out by the Trump administration, by Stephen Miller, by anyone else that's trying to uphold the institution of ICE, understand that's all that it is. It is an attempted character assassination of a man who is not only good, but somebody that people stand 10 toes down on for his character. I asked the person if I could use this video for this video, and they said, yes, please do not let them destroy his character. And I am absolutely no stranger to watching attempted character assassinations take place. As I am in Minneapolis, we watched the same thing happen with Philando Castile, George Floyd, Terrence Franklin, Amir Locke, and now Renee Good, and now Alex Pretti. And if we just take a moment to look at Alex Pretti in his final moments in the video that we all saw from multiple different angles, he was just looking out for his community. He was doing what many of us have done, would do, and plan on doing in the future. He was just looking out for his community. He was filming, he was observing, and then he was publicly executed. And there is not a singular plausible reality that this institution of law enforcement or Trump administration can stand on to convince people otherwise. And for those that believe otherwise, understand that your fealty to an administration carrying out public executions and then victim blaming the dead is essentially blind loyalty to an administration that would attempt to assassinate your character if ever your life were taken by ICE. But go back to the beginning of the video of Alex reading the final salute for that veteran. He was the ICU nurse for that veteran. And it shows you that Alex's character not only cannot be assassinated by this administration, but it also shows you that literally everybody in this administration could never live up to who Alex was.
Breaking news, Donald Trump has finally released a statement after federal agents executed a man in broad daylight on the streets of Minneapolis. The name of the man who was executed was Alex Pretti, but Donald Trump just talks about the fact that the guy had a gun, which, by the way, was taken away from this man before they executed him. But Donald Trump does not mention that. He just mentioned the gun. He doesn't say that the guy was trying to shoot them. He just says, why weren't local police allowed to protect ICE officers? He says he talks about tens of billions of dollars that have been stolen from the once great state of Massachusetts. He does not care that federal agents executed a man in broad daylight. We can all see the video. It's clear as day. And Donald Trump doesn't even try to call this guy a criminal at all in this situation. Even Donald Trump knows that this is not defensible. And he posts the picture of the gun, trying to make it seem like these people are criminals, but he doesn't even defend the shooting. So that's a big sign.